The rain against the kitchen window tasted like copper and the fear she had been swallowing for years. Eulalia pulled her turtleneck higher, not for warmth, but to hide the purple bruise blooming across her collarbone like a dark flower. Down the hall, her 5-year-old daughter lay perfectly still, having learned that silence was the only armor that worked when Peregrine's footsteps grew heavy with whiskey. Eulalia believed she was alone in this domestic prison, trapped by a man who smiled for the neighbors and broke her ribs in secret. She didn't know that a king with eyes like amber had been counting her tears for 3 days, waiting for the moment to show her husband that there are far worse things in the dark than a man with a clenched fist. The rain tastes like copper when it hits my lips. I stand at the kitchen window, watching water streak down the glass in patterns that look almost deliberate, almost like fingers reaching. Behind me, Peregrine's footsteps creak across the warped floorboards. I don't turn around. Turning around means meeting his eyes, and meeting his eyes means he'll see the bruise forming along my collarbone, the one I've been hiding under this turtleneck all day. Eulalia. His voice carries that particular flatness that means he's been drinking. Not enough to slur. Never enough to slur. Just enough to make his movements unpredictable, his moods sharp as broken glass. I press my palm against the cold window. Ottilie needs new shoes. Her toes are cramping. We talked about this. The floorboards groan closer. I can smell the whiskey now, mixing with his cologne, that expensive stuff his mother buys him every Christmas. My parents are coming for dinner tomorrow. You'll smile. You'll be charming. Then we'll discuss shoes. My reflection in the dark glass shows a woman I barely recognize, 26 years old, and I look 40. My hair hangs limp around a face that's forgotten how to arrange itself into anything except careful neutrality. I practiced smiling in the bathroom mirror this morning. It took me 11 tries before my mouth remembered the shape. She's 5, Peregrine. Her feet are growing. His hand lands on my shoulder. Not hard, never hard enough to leave marks where people can see. Just enough pressure to remind me that he could, that he has, that he will again. Tomorrow, he says. After dinner, if you're good. The rain outside intensifies, drumming against the roof like fingernails. Somewhere in the small bedroom down the hall, Ottilie is probably awake, probably listening to the careful silence between her parents' words. She's learned to read the quiet, the way other children read picture books. I nod. The movement makes my neck ache where his fingers dug in last Tuesday. Or was it Wednesday? The days blur together like watercolors left in the rain. I need to pick up groceries, I say. For tomorrow. His hand lifts. I hear him move toward the living room, toward the leather chair that cost more than our monthly rent, the one his father bought us as a wedding gift. Take Ottilie. Keep her out of my hair. I have work to do. Work. He means the laptop, the cryptocurrency forums, the elaborate fantasy that he's going to strike it rich while his parents' money slowly runs dry. But I don't say this. I learned years ago that truth is a luxury I can't afford. The grocery store parking lot gleams like black ice under the fluorescent lights. Ottilie's small hand grips mine as we navigate between puddles, her worn sneakers soaking through within seconds. I can feel her trying not to complain, trying to be good, trying to be invisible the way I've taught her without meaning to. Inside, the store blazes with artificial brightness that makes my eyes water. Music drifts from speakers, some cheerful pop song about summer and freedom and all the things that exist in a world I don't inhabit anymore. I grab a cart. The wheel squeaks. Everything in my life squeaks or groans or threatens to break. Can we get the cereal with the toy? Ottilie's voice is so small, so careful. Not this week, baby. She doesn't argue, 5 years old, and she's already learned that wanting things is dangerous. I hate Peregrine for that. I hate myself more. We move through the aisles like ghosts, collecting the items his mother expects: organic vegetables, expensive cuts of meat, the particular brand of wine his father drinks. My hands shake as I place each item in the cart. The total climbs in my head like a countdown to disaster. We're already over budget. We're always over budget. That's when I feel it. The sensation of being watched. I've felt it before, this prickling awareness that crawls up my spine like cold fingers. Usually it's just paranoia, just the hypervigilance that comes from living with someone who tracks my every movement. But this feels different. Heavier, more deliberate. I turn slowly, scanning the produce section. A man stands near the organic apples, perfectly still, in a way that human beings aren't supposed to be still. He's looking directly at me. Not glancing, not casually observing, looking with the kind of focused intensity that makes my breath catch. He's beautiful in a way that feels wrong, like a painting that's too perfect, too composed. Dark hair falls across a face carved from marble and shadow. His clothes are expensive, black on black, tailored to a body that suggests both elegance and violence. But it's his eyes that stop me. Even from this distance, even under the harsh fluorescent lights, they seem to hold their own illumination. Amber. Gold. Ancient. Mommy? Ottilie tugs my hand. Why is that man staring? I don't know, baby. Don't look at him. But I can't stop looking. He tilts his head slightly, and something about the gesture reminds me of a predator assessing prey. Then he smiles. It's not a friendly smile. It's the smile of someone who knows secrets, who sees through the careful mask I wear, who understands exactly what kind of prison I'm living in. He begins walking toward us. His movements are too smooth, too fluid, like he's gliding rather than walking. The fluorescent lights seem to dim as he approaches, or maybe that's just my vision tunneling with fear. Eulalia. He says my name like he's tasting it, rolling it around in his mouth like wine. I've been looking for you. My hand tightens on Ottilie's. I don't know you. Not yet. He stops 3 feet away. Up close, he's even more unsettling. His skin is too pale, too flawless. No pores, no imperfections, like porcelain. But I know you. I know what he does to you. I know what you're planning. The world tilts. I'm not planning anything. Liar. The word is soft, almost affectionate. You've been researching shelters, saving money in a coffee can behind the water heater, memorizing bus schedules to cities where his family's influence doesn't reach. My heart hammers against my ribs. Who are you? Someone who can help. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a card. Black. Matte. No writing, just a symbol embossed in silver, a crown wrapped in thorns. When you're ready to disappear, call this number. I'll make sure he never finds you. Why would you help me? His smile widens, revealing teeth that are just slightly too white, too sharp. Because I collect broken things and make them whole again. Because your fear tastes like honey in the air, and I'm tired of watching him waste something precious. Because he leans closer, and I smell rain and earth and something older, something that makes my hindbrain scream danger. You're mine, Eulalia. You just don't know it yet. Ottilie whimpers. The sound breaks whatever spell he's cast. Stay away from us. My voice shakes, but I force the words out. I'll be close. He presses the card into my palm. His fingers are ice cold. When he hurts you again, and he will, remember that you have a choice. Remember that I'm waiting. Then he's gone. Simply gone, as if he evaporated into the fluorescent air. I stand frozen, the black card burning in my hand like a promise, like a threat. like salvation wrapped in shadow. I stumble backward, my spine hitting the cold metal of the vending machine. The card in my hand feels heavier than it should, as if it's made of lead instead of paper. Ottilie's small fingers clutch my sleeve, and I can feel her trembling through the fabric. "Mama." Her voice is so small. I shove the card deep into my coat pocket and lift her into my arms, pressing her face against my shoulder. "It's okay, baby. We're going home." But my hands won't stop shaking as I carry her through the automatic doors, out into the parking lot, where the sodium lights cast everything in sickly orange. The night air tastes metallic, like copper pennies on my tongue. I fumble with my keys, dropping them twice before I can unlock the car door. The drive home takes 17 minutes. I count every second. Peregrine's truck sits in the driveway, dark and hulking like a sleeping predator. My stomach drops. He wasn't supposed to be home until tomorrow. The business trip to Charlotte. The meetings that would keep him away for 3 days. "Why is Daddy home?" Ottilie asks, her voice muffled against my neck. "I don't know, sweetheart." The house is dark except for one window. The kitchen. I can see his silhouette through the curtains, standing perfectly still, waiting. I consider driving away, just turning the car around and disappearing into the night, with nothing but the clothes on our backs, and that impossible black card burning a hole in my pocket. But my purse is inside. Our documents. The coffee can with $843 that took me 14 months to save. "Stay in the car," I tell Ottilie, but she whimpers and clings tighter. "No, don't leave me." So I carry her up the walkway, feeling the weight of Peregrine's gaze through the window. The front door is unlocked. It swings open before I can touch the handle. He stands in the hallway, backlit by the kitchen fluorescence. His face is in shadow, but I can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands hang loose at his sides, deceptively relaxed. That's when he's most dangerous. "You're late." His voice is conversational, pleasant even. The doctor ran behind schedule. I set Ottilie down, and she immediately runs to her room. Smart girl. She's learned to disappear when the air gets thick like this. 3 hours behind. There was a wait. Funny. He steps closer, and now I can see his face. Calm. Too calm. "I called the clinic. They said you left at 4:30. My mind races. The grocery store. The pharmacy. The park where that man, Cassian, appeared like smoke. I stopped for groceries. "Show me the receipt." "I forgot to get it." "Show me the groceries." The silence stretches between us like a wire pulled taut. I can hear the refrigerator humming in the kitchen, the creak of Ottilie's bed as she climbs under the covers, the sound of my own heartbeat in my ears. I threw them in the trunk. I say, "I'll bring them in." His hand shoots out and grabs my wrist. Not hard enough to bruise. Never hard enough to leave marks where people can see. "You're lying to me, Eulalia." "I'm not." "Where were you?" His thumb presses into the soft underside of my wrist, finding the pressure point. "Who were you with?" "No one. I was alone. I just needed some air." The pressure increases. My knees buckle, but he holds me up by that single point of contact. His face remains calm, almost concerned, like he's a doctor examining a patient. "You think I'm stupid?" His voice drops to a whisper. "You think I don't notice things? The way you've been acting? Distant, secretive." He pulls me closer until I can smell the bourbon on his breath. "My mother saw you at the park, sitting on a bench, talking to some man." Ice floods my veins. Of course his mother was there. She's always there, watching, reporting back like a loyal hound. It was nothing, just a stranger asking for directions. "Don't," the word cracks like a whip. "Don't insult me with more lies." He releases my wrist, and I stumble backward. For a moment, I think he's going to let it go. Then I see his hand move toward his belt, and my body goes rigid with muscle memory. The black card in my pocket feels like it's burning through the fabric. When he hurts you again, and he will, remember that you have a choice. Go to the bedroom, Peregrine says quietly. Take off your clothes. I'm going to teach you about honesty. My throat closes. I can't breathe. Can't think. The hallway tilts and swims. Now, Eulalia. I turn toward the bedroom. My legs move automatically, carrying me down the hall like a prisoner walking to execution. Behind me, I hear him lock the front door. The sound of the deadbolt sliding home is like a coffin closing. The bedroom smells like his cologne and the lavender detergent I use on the sheets. Normal smells. Domestic smells. They make everything worse somehow. I'm reaching for the buttons on my blouse when I hear it. A tap at the window. My hands freeze. We're on the second floor. There's nothing outside that window except a 20-foot drop to the flower bed below. Another tap. Deliberate. Insistent. I move to the window, my heart hammering. Pull back the curtain. Cassian crouches on the narrow ledge outside, balanced impossibly on the balls of his feet. He shouldn't be able to stand there. The ledge is barely 6 inches wide, but he perches there like a bird, perfectly still, his dark eyes reflecting the moonlight like an animal's. He presses one finger to his lips. Then he points down. I look. There's a rope. No, not a rope. A ladder made of what looks like silk, hanging from the roof down to the ground. It moves slightly in the breeze, rippling like water. He mouths 2 words. Come now. I shake my head frantically. Ottilie. I can't leave without Ottilie. He seems to understand. He points to himself, then to the hallway, then makes a gesture like scooping something up. He'll get her. Footsteps on the stairs. Peregrine's boots, heavy and slow. Cassian's eyes lock onto mine. There's no smile now, no seductive charm, just raw intensity, like staring into the heart of a storm. Trust me, he mouths. I don't trust him. I don't trust anyone, but I trust Peregrine less. My hands move before my brain catches up. I unlock the window, slide it open. The night air rushes in, cold and clean, washing away the smell of cologne and lavender. Eulalia? Peregrine's voice from the hallway. What are you doing in there? Cassian extends his hand. His fingers are long and pale, the nails perfectly manicured. I take his hand, and his skin is cold, not just cool, but genuinely cold, like touching marble in winter. He pulls me through the window with impossible strength, catching me against his chest as my feet scramble for purchase on the ledge. Up close, I can see that his pupils are too large, swallowing almost all the color of his iris. And his skin, it doesn't have pores. It's smooth as polished stone. Ottilie, I whisper. I know. He steadies me on the ledge, then moves past me with fluid grace, slipping through the window into my bedroom like smoke. The door opens. I hear Peregrine's voice, sharp with anger. What the hell? Then silence. Complete, absolute silence. I cling to the window frame, my heart trying to break through my ribs. Seconds tick past. 5, 10, 15. Cassian reappears with Ottilie in his arms. She's asleep, or unconscious. I can't tell which. Her head lolling against his shoulder. He moves back through the window without making a sound, without disturbing a single fold of her nightgown. Down, he says quietly, nodding toward the silk ladder. What did you do to him? He's sleeping. He'll wake in an hour with a headache and no memory of the last 10 minutes. He shifts Ottilie's weight. Move, Eulalia. We don't have time for questions. I grab the ladder. It's stronger than it looks, barely swaying as I climb down. My hands burn against the silk, my arms shaking with adrenaline. When my feet hit the grass, my knees nearly give out. Cassian descends behind me, moving down the ladder one-handed while cradling Ottilie with the other arm. He makes it look effortless. When he reaches the ground, the ladder dissolves into mist and vanishes. My car. Leave it. He's already moving toward the street, where a black car idles at the curb. Not a modern car. Something vintage, all curves and chrome, the kind you see in old movies. Everything you need will be provided. Wait. I chase after him, my voice rising. I can't just leave. My documents. My money. I have nothing. He turns, and the moonlight catches his face at an angle that makes him look inhuman. Beautiful and terrible, like a statue come to life. You have your daughter. You have your life. Everything else is replaceable. The car door opens by itself. The interior is all leather and dark wood, lit by small amber lights that cast everything in warm shadow. Cassian slides into the back seat with Ottilie, arranging her carefully across his lap. Get in, he says. I look back at the house. My prison, my hell. The bedroom window is still open, curtains fluttering in the breeze. Any moment, Peregrine will wake up. He'll realize we're gone. He'll call his father, his brothers, his whole network of men who know how to find people who don't want to be found. I get in the car. The door closes with a heavy, final sound. The driver, a woman with silver hair and eyes that don't quite focus right, pulls away from the curb without a word. We glide through the streets of my neighborhood, past the houses where normal people live normal lives, where women sleep safely beside their husbands and children dream without fear. Where are we going? My voice sounds strange in the quiet car. Somewhere he can't follow. Cassian strokes Ottilie's hair with surprising gentleness. Somewhere you'll be safe. Nothing you've done tonight is remotely safe. I twist in my seat to face him. You climbed a building. You made a ladder out of nothing. You did something to Peregrine that knocked him unconscious without touching him. My voice cracks. What are you? He meets my eyes in the dim light. You know what I am, Eulalia. You've known since the moment you saw me. That's impossible. Is it? He smiles, and his teeth catch the amber light. Too white, too sharp. You felt it. The wrongness. The way I move. The way I smell. The way your instincts scream at you to run even as something deeper pulls you closer. I press myself against the car door. You're insane. I'm patient. He adjusts Ottilie's position, tucking her head more securely against his shoulder. I've waited 400 years to find someone like you. I can wait a few more hours for you to accept the truth. 400 years. The words hang in the air like smoke. Vampires aren't real, I whisper. Then how do you explain what you've seen tonight? I can't. I have no explanation that makes sense. No rational framework that accommodates a man who appears and disappears like smoke, who climbs buildings and dissolves ladders into mist, who looks 30 but claims to be 4 centuries old. The car turns onto a private road. Trees close in on both sides, their branches forming a tunnel overhead. We drive for what feels like miles, though I lose track of time in the darkness. Finally, we emerge into a clearing. A house rises before us. No, not a house. A mansion. 3 stories of stone and stained glass, with towers at each corner and ivy crawling up the walls. Lights glow in some of the windows, warm and inviting, but the building itself feels old. Ancient, like it's been here since before the city existed. Welcome home, Cassian says. The car stops in front of massive oak doors. They open before we reach them, revealing a man in a dark suit. He's young, maybe 25, but his eyes have the same unfocused quality as the driver's. Take the child to the rose room, Cassian instructs, transferring Ottilie into the man's arms. Make sure she's comfortable. Post a guard outside her door. Wait. I reach for her, but Cassian catches my wrist. She's safe, safer than she's ever been. His grip is gentle but immovable. Come, we need to talk. He leads me through doors that close behind us with a sound like thunder. The entrance hall is enormous, all marble and dark wood, with a chandelier overhead that holds 100 candles, real candles, burning with steady flames. Paintings line the walls, portraits of people in old-fashioned clothes, their eyes following us as we pass. We climb a staircase that curves up into shadow. My legs ache. My hands won't stop shaking. I'm running on pure adrenaline now. My body pushed past exhaustion into a strange, floating numbness. Cassian opens a door and gestures me inside. The room beyond is a library. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves cover every wall, stuffed with volumes that look older than my grandparents'. A fire burns in a massive stone fireplace, and there's a bar cart near the window, crystal decanters catching the firelight. Sit, Cassian says, moving to the bar cart. You need something to steady your nerves. I need to see my daughter. In a moment, he pours amber liquid into a glass. First, you need to understand the situation. The situation. My voice rises. You kidnapped us. You broke into my house. You did something to my husband. Your husband. He turns, and his face is hard now, all the seductive charm burned away. The man who was about to beat you. Again, the man whose touch makes you flinch. The man who's slowly killing you, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but a shell that goes through the motions of living. I open my mouth. Close it. No words come. He crosses the room and presses the glass into my hand. Drink. I drink. The liquid burns down my throat, spreading warmth through my chest. Whiskey. Good whiskey, smooth and rich. Better? He asks. I nod, not trusting my voice. He moves to the fireplace, staring into the flames. The light plays across his face, highlighting the sharp angles of his cheekbones, the impossible perfection of his features. I'm going to tell you a story, he says quietly. And you're going to listen, and then you're going to make a choice. What choice? Whether to stay or go. He glances at me over his shoulder. I won't keep you prisoner, Eulalia. If you want to leave, I'll have you driven anywhere you want to go. I'll give you money, documents, everything you need to disappear. But Peregrine will find you eventually. Men like him always do. And if I stay, then you accept my protection. You live here, in safety, until we can arrange something more permanent. A new identity, a new city, a life where he can't touch you. Why? The word bursts out of me. Why do you care? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. He turns fully now, and his eyes are black in the firelight. Because I've watched you for 3 months. I've seen you at the grocery store, buying food you can't afford, because Peregrine controls the money. I've seen you at the park, letting Ottilie play while you sit on that bench and stare at nothing, trying to figure out how to survive another day. I've seen the bruises you hide under long sleeves, the way you flinch when doors slam, the way you've stopped smiling. My throat tightens. That doesn't answer my question. I collect broken things, he says softly, beautiful things that the world has damaged. I restore them, protect them, give them a chance to become what they were meant to be. He takes a step closer. You're extraordinary, Eulalia. You just don't see it yet. But I do. I see the strength it takes to endure what you've endured, the courage it takes to keep fighting when everything in you wants to give up, The love it takes to protect your daughter, even when you can barely protect yourself. You're a vampire, I whisper. Yes, you drink blood. Yes. You could kill me. Kill Ottilie. We'd be completely at your mercy. Yes. He doesn't look away. But I won't. I give you my word, for whatever that's worth to you. No harm will come to you or your daughter under my roof. You have my protection, my resources, A crash from downstairs. The sound of splintering wood. Cassian's head snaps toward the door, his body going rigid. He's here. What? How? He followed the car. Cassian moves to the window, looking down at the driveway. Clever. I underestimated him. I join him at the window. Peregrine's truck sits at an angle across the drive, the driver's door hanging open, and Peregrine himself stands at the oak doors, hammering on them with both fists. Eulalia. His voice carries through the glass. I know you're in there. Come out right now. My blood turns to ice. Cassian touches my shoulder. He can't get in. The doors are reinforced steel under the oak. He could pound on them for a week and not make a dent. You don't understand. My voice shakes. He won't stop. He'll call the police. His father. He'll say you kidnapped us. He'll let him try. Cassian's voice is cold. I've dealt with worse than Peregrine and his family. Another crash. The sound of breaking glass. He's trying the windows, Cassian says calmly. Then his head tilts, nostrils flaring, and he's bleeding. Cut himself on the glass. The way he says it makes my stomach drop. There's hunger in his voice, raw and primal, barely controlled. Cassian. I step back. When did you last eat? He doesn't answer. His eyes are fixed on the window, on the driveway below where Peregrine rages and bleeds and screams my name into the night. Cassian. 3 days, he says quietly. I've been watching you, protecting you. I haven't had time to feed. The oak doors shudder under another impact. Peregrine's voice rises, incoherent with fury, and Cassian smiles, his teeth catching the firelight, sharp and white and hungry. The smile fades from his face as quickly as it appeared. Cassian turns to me, and whatever he sees in my expression makes him step back, hands raised. I won't hurt him, he says. I won't. You're hungry. My voice comes out steadier than I feel, and he's bleeding right outside. I'm in control, but his jaw is tight, tendons standing out in his neck. Eulalia, I've gone months without feeding when necessary. 3 days is nothing. Another crash from below. Peregrine's voice cracks on my name. He'll wake Ottilie, I whisper. She won't wake. I made sure of it before I brought you both here. He moves away from the window, putting distance between himself and the scent of blood. But you're right. This needs to end. Tonight. What are you going to do? Talk to him. Cassian's eyes meet mine. Let him in. Let him see that you and Ottilie are safe. And then I'm going to make him understand that he will never touch either of you again. He won't listen to words. He'll listen to me. Something ancient moves behind Cassian's eyes. Men like Peregrine understand only one language: dominance, fear. I've had 4 centuries to perfect that vocabulary. The pounding stops. In the sudden silence, I hear Peregrine's ragged breathing, the crunch of his boots on gravel as he circles the house. He's looking for another way in, Cassian says. There isn't one, but he'll hurt himself trying. He looks at me. Do you trust me? I should say no. I should be terrified of what might happen when a starving vampire and my violent husband occupy the same room. But I think of Ottilie sleeping peacefully upstairs, of the bruises yellowing on my ribs, of Peregrine's hands around my throat. Yes, Cassian nods once. Stay behind me. No matter what he says or does, stay behind me. We descend the curved staircase together. The foyer stretches before us, all marble and shadow. The oak doors shudder under another impact. Eulalia, open this door. Cassian crosses to a panel beside the entrance and presses his palm against it. Something clicks. The heavy doors swing inward. Peregrine stumbles through, fist raised for another blow. He catches himself on the doorframe, chest heaving. Blood drips from his right hand, where glass has opened his palm in a ragged line. His eyes find me immediately. There you are. He straightens, wiping his bleeding hand on his jeans. Get Ottilie. We're leaving. No. The word comes out clear and final. His face darkens. What did you say to me? I said no. I don't move from behind Cassian. We're not going anywhere with you. The hell you're not. You're my wife. That's my daughter. You don't get to just... He takes a step forward and finally seems to register Cassian's presence. Who the fuck are you? The owner of this house. Cassian's voice is pleasant, conversational. And the man who's going to explain something to you, Peregrine. I don't give a shit who you are. Peregrine's eyes narrow. You kidnapped my family. I could have you arrested. Could you? Cassian tilts his head. Is that what you told yourself on the drive here? That I took them against their will? Eulalia. Peregrine ignores him, focusing on me. Stop this. Stop this right now and come home. We'll forget this ever happened. Like you forgot hitting me. My voice shakes but holds. Like you forgot choking me in front of our daughter. I never. He stops. Recalculates. You're being dramatic. I grabbed you, sure, but you were hysterical. You weren't listening. I heard every word. The trembling spreads from my voice to my hands. Every threat. Every time you told me I was worthless. Stupid. Lucky you put up with me. Jesus Christ. Peregrine runs his good hand through his hair. This is what happens when you listen to those women at the shelter. They fill your head with... The shelter photographed my injuries. I step out from behind Cassian, just slightly. They documented everything. The bruises, the handprints on my throat. It's all on record now. The color drains from Peregrine's face, then floods back, dark and furious. You stupid bitch. His voice drops to a hiss. Do you have any idea what you've done? My father will destroy you in court. You'll never see Ottilie again. I'll make sure. He moves toward me. Cassian is faster. One moment Peregrine is advancing, hand raised. The next Cassian has him by the wrist, holding him suspended mid-strike. Peregrine tries to pull away. Cassian doesn't budge. Let go of me. Peregrine yanks harder. Nothing. I said let go. Cassian squeezes. The sound of small bones grinding together fills the foyer. Peregrine's face goes white. A thin, high noise escapes his throat. Here's what's going to happen. Cassian's voice is soft, almost gentle. You're going to listen very carefully. You're not going to interrupt. And you're certainly not going to raise your hand to a Eulalia ever again. Do you understand? Peregrine tries to swing with his left fist. Cassian catches that wrist too, faster than thought, and now he holds Peregrine like a puppet, arms spread wide, completely immobilized. I asked if you understood. Fuck you. Peregrine spits the words. You think you scare me. You think... The lights flicker. Once. Twice. The shadows in the corners of the room seem to deepen, to reach. The temperature drops so suddenly I can see my breath. Cassian leans in close, and when he speaks, his voice carries the weight of centuries. I am 437 years old. I have hunted kings and criminals, saints and sinners. I have walked through wars and plagues, and the slow collapse of empires. I have killed men for far less than what you've done to her. His grip tightens. Peregrine whimpers. So when I tell you that you will never touch Eulalia or Ottilie again, understand that I am not threatening you. I am stating a fact. Like gravity. Like death. Inevitable. You're insane. But Peregrine's voice cracks. You're fucking insane. Perhaps, Cassian smiles, and his teeth catch the light. But I'm also very, very hungry. And you've been bleeding all over my driveway. Peregrine sees the teeth. Sees something in Cassian's eyes that makes his knees buckle. What are you? A better question is, what are you going to do now? Cassian releases him suddenly. Peregrine stumbles backward, cradling his wrists. You're going to leave. You're going to tell your father that Eulalia has filed for divorce and full custody. You're going to cooperate with every request, every hearing, every mediation. And you're going to do it quietly, without contest. Like hell I will. You will. Cassian takes a single step forward. Peregrine retreats too. Because if you don't, I will show your father's private investigator the photographs I took tonight. You drunk, breaking into my home, threatening a woman and child under my protection. I will testify in court about your violent behavior, and I will make certain that everyone in your social circle knows exactly what kind of man you are. No one will believe you. They'll believe the evidence. They'll believe Eulalia's testimony. They'll believe the shelter's documentation. Cassian's smile sharpens, and they'll believe the security footage from tonight. Every word you've said, every threat you've made, all recorded in high definition. Peregrine's eyes dart to the corners of the foyer, finding the small cameras mounted in the crown molding. You're finished, Peregrine. I find my voice again. It's over. He looks at me then, really looks at me, and I see the moment he understands, the moment he realizes that I'm not coming back, that no amount of threats or promises or his father's money will change what's happened here tonight. You'll regret this. But the words are hollow. Both of you. I don't think so. Cassian gestures to the open door. Leave, now, before I change my mind about letting you walk out of here. Peregrine backs toward the entrance, eyes never leaving Cassian. At the threshold he pauses. This isn't over. Yes, I say quietly. It is. He leaves. The oak doors swing shut behind him with a sound like a coffin closing. Through the window I watch his truck's taillights disappear down the long driveway. The silence that follows is vast and ringing. My legs give out. Cassian catches me before I hit the marble, lowering me gently to sit on the bottom step of the staircase. He kneels in front of me, hands hovering, not quite touching. Breathe, he says softly. Just breathe. I try. The air won't come. My chest is too tight, my throat closing around sobs I can't release. You're safe. His hand finds mine, cool and steady. He's gone. You're safe. I stood up to him. The words come out broken. You were magnificent. Cassian's thumb traces circles on my palm. You were so brave. The sobs come then, tearing through me in great shuddering waves. Cassian pulls me against his chest, one hand cradling my head, and lets me cry. He doesn't tell me to stop, doesn't tell me it's okay. He just holds me while 4 years of fear and anger and shame pour out of me onto his shirt. When the storm finally passes, I'm hollow and exhausted and strangely light. What happens now? I whisper. Now you rest. Tomorrow we call your lawyer and begin the legal process. I have excellent attorneys who specialize in cases like yours. They'll make sure you and Ottilie are protected. He pulls back to look at me. And I'll be here, for as long as you need me. You don't have to. I want to. His eyes are impossibly gentle. If you'll let me. Upstairs, I hear Ottilie stir, calling out for me in her sleep. I start to rise, but Cassian is already moving. "I'll check on her," he says. "You rest." I watch him climb the stairs, this ancient creature who chose to protect us, and feel something shift in my chest. Not love. Not yet. But the beginning of it. The possibility. The foyer is quiet now. The shadows return to their proper places. Through the window, dawn is beginning to break, painting the sky in shades of rose and gold. I close my eyes and breathe in the silence, tasting freedom for the first time in years.